It wasn't that long ago when I was talking to you, when I just flown out to the East Coast, when within 48 hours, everything shut down. There are major issues to come in 2020. Are you prepared?
One stacker on a journey to find silver. International Stacker.
What's up, guys? International Stacker back again, and I have kind of a something serious to talk to you about. I want to get this point across to as many of you as possible. For those of you who don't know, and by the way, I'm down to 70% of you guys are not subscribed now. So please subscribe, like the video, share it wide, because this type of video can actually save somebody's life. But are you prepared for what's to come in 2020? 2020 has been a hashtag dumpster fire so far. But if you remember, I was sitting in the East Coast talking to you all, saying we're going to... And it can happen that quick. Sorry, my nephew called and messed it up. But I was on the East Coast talking about we're going to go see LCSs on all this stuff and do all these things. And within 48 hours, everything had changed. And I think one lesson that should show everybody is how quickly things can change. Now, what do I think is going to happen in 2020? Now, I've done my best to stay non-political or apolitical on my channel because I know you guys are bombarded with it every day. So even now, I'm going to stay as unpolitical as I have, but I'm just going to make some basic statements. Why do I think things are about to get crazy? Well, it all has to do with this election coming up. Half of the U.S. population either likes him and supports him, or likes and supports the things he does because it agrees more with their perspective on life. And another half of the U.S. population, at least when I say half, I'm talking to people who had voted. The other half don't agree, and they don't like him at all. On both sides of the story, you have people who are hardline and fervent supporters or non-supporters and not. And again, on both sides, you have some very extreme individuals. And there are people on the side against this man, whether you agree with him or not. But I think you can agree with this statement. All you need to do is turn on any mainstream media news outlet to witness this, or see what a lot of the celebrities are saying. But there are people who will literally burn the system to the ground, force quarantines for longer, push different aspects to do anything they can to keep him out of office. Now, I'm not saying he should or shouldn't be in office. What I'm saying is prepare for drama. That's what I'm saying. Whether you agree with him or don't agree with him, it's still going to affect you the same. So what am I trying to say? One reason we got to prepare in 2020 is because this election in November, I think, is going to be unlike any election we've seen before. If he loses, there's going to be people that say one side cheated and it was unfair, which may or may not be the truth. If he wins, there's going to be one side that says he won because he cheated and the Russians helped him, which may or may not be true. My whole point is on these statements is drama is coming. No matter what happens, drama is coming. I think we've seen the groundwork so far with a lot of the protests we've seen across the United States and a lot of the impacts. So first we had the beer flu, which really got serious within 48 to 72 hours. And by serious, I don't mean high number of people dying, because the CFR, or case fatality rate on this thing, ended up being a lot lower than what was originally thought, and it's going to continue to decrease as testing increases. But serious things were done to stop that from spreading, and it's resulting in major economic issues that we're just barely starting to see. But when the whole city got locked down and things seemed really bad, and it seemed like the 1918 all over again with the Spanish flu, did you want to go out to stores and get food and water? Did you have enough money saved up to survive? Were you prepared for it? Secondly, if we continue to see civil unrest happen because of politics and possibly mass demonstrations when the election happens in 2020, Are food and supply chains going to be disrupted and water going to be disrupted? No, probably not, but it could be. Or it could be a situation to where you don't want to go out in public because of drama that's going on. So let me take you over to my station here. We're going to run through a few scenarios, and I'm going to let you know how you can be prepared. And a little bit of background on me, guys. The work I work in is emergency management or disaster management and a lot of homeland security projects. So that's why I feel like I have an expertise and authority to talk on this level. I specialize and basically help governments prep or prepare. Preppers have kind of gotten a bad name. When you hear the word prepper, you think of somebody sitting with 50 guns in a bunker, with like 10 million gallons of food and like totally crazy and saying the sun's gonna explode and aliens are gonna abduct them and take them to Mars. You get what I'm saying? Preppers have a bad rep. In reality, governments prep. Governments tell their citizens to prep. Have you ever been to readyusa.gov? FEMA tells U.S. citizens to prepare. It was a week, then it was 72 hours, and it went to week, 2 week. I think there's documentation out that says you should be ready for a month. But what did we see during Hurricane Katrina? People on the roof, signs, please help me. What do we see during major catastrophic disasters? People needing help, not being prepared, having to go to shelters and be exposed to different aspects because they weren't really ready for it. So what I'm trying to tell you is I'm going to give you some ways that you can prepare. And whether we have to deal with an extension of the beer flu, which honestly, unfortunately, at first we were acting on data, and now the data's changed, and unfortunately, a lot of jurisdictions are not acting on that data because it doesn't fit a certain political narrative. And this is totally now, I believe, in most places, been hijacked and been turned political, unfortunately. But whether the beer flu gets extended, and let me know if you saw some of my coverage on that. We were pretty much right during the whole thing, and I've almost been vindicated on a few things I got pushback for that are looking like they're accurate now. Maybe it's an extension of the current protests with what's going on. Maybe it's going to be an outbreak of political violence or political strife. And if none of that happens, maybe it's going to be an earthquake. Maybe it's going to be the next Hurricane Katrina or Rita. And guess what? This is supposed to be a really bad hurricane season. So hurricanes. By the way, side note, I was on Hurricane Rita in 2005 in Texas, down in Port Arthur. Go figure that. My point is, if you prepare, you are safe and ready to respond to any of these scenarios that might arise. So you can lay down and sleep at night knowing that you've prepared with your family. So here's a couple ideas that I'll give you on, your overall preparedness for disasters. The very first thing, you need to have a cash emergency fund. Now, I was guilty of this when this thing kicked off. And because I was in the middle of 2 contracts, I had a lot of money out. So certain contracts requires me to put money out that I get back very quickly. So I had just done that twice, and this whole thing happened. Those contracts got put on hold. Now I'm on a different contract. So the good news is the money is now coming back from those contracts. But even I was not prepared with an emergency fund. Your emergency fund should start out at least $1,000. That's kind of the Dave Ramsey system. And then you should work up to either having between 3 to 6 months of cash supply. When this whole thing started, I put out a video saying, stop stacking now. Talk to people about getting a cash reserve. You need to have enough cash to not have to brave the streets and go to work, or if the internet gets shut off or there's no way to do anything for your family to survive. Cash fund is one of the most important things. Secondly, a small supply of emergency water. And people go, well, with the beer flu or this, the water didn't shut off. But what happens when the water shuts off when a real incident happens? You can only survive a couple days without water. You can survive a month without food. So emergency water, and whether that's storing water or getting a thing called a water bob that you can throw in a bathtub and fill up, you need to have water. And not only for you, if you have animals or livestock, you need to have a plan too with them, to provide them with water. 3, emergency food, and I beat on this all the time. You need to have long life emergency food that you could throw in a closet and forget about. What I've been buying a lot lately is my Patriot Supply because they've helped to sponsor me. So a little shameless plug here. And I only give shameless plugs to things that I actually think are good. If you go to preparewithis.com, that's preparewithis.com, it has 2 deals on here. My Patriot Supply is good for 25 years. It actually tastes good because this is a new redesigned food. And I have a video I put out of the young stackers and my sister's kids eating the food and actually asking for seconds, which is crazy. This is some of the best prices you're gonna find out there to begin with. And on top of you guys getting a great discount, a small percentage kickback comes to my channel and then helps me do what I'm gonna do, or do what I do, and helps me to plan and make the channel bigger and, you know, do things like trying to search for this treasure and be able to afford to do that. So I love this because not only are you getting great food at a great deal, but it helps support my channel. And I had stopped pushing this for a while because everyone had waited till the bear flu to get it, and it went to 12-week delivery. Now the delivery for it says for 55% of new orders will ship within 1 week, and then the rest of the orders will ship within 4 to 6 weeks. I had talked about this in the beginning of December, people being prepared. There was the 2-day shipping, and then people were trying to do it during the bear flu, and this got up to 12 weeks, guys. I think even 18 weeks at one point. They had like 20 times the normal ordering, and they still have 10 times above normal. So prepare now. Don't wait for this thing to go back up to 12 or 18 weeks. Don't do what everyone else is doing. You want to be there before that. Okay, you want to be, I guess, a contrarian. When people aren't preparing, you want to prepare. When they are preparing, you want to sit back and relax. Next thing I'll talk about is Second Amendment articles. I don't want to say certain words to get this video flagged, but if you believe in protecting yourself and your family, Second Amendment, make sure you have your supplies good. Like hunting knives and things like that can be good. And of course, you need to have things for emergency power and whatnot. What works really well is I have a couple, when I'm home, I have a couple solar generators. So generators that can run off solar power. So you can run medical devices or charge phones or refrigerators if you have a bunch of food in there or something like that. So moral of the story is, guys, be prepared. And right now I'm horribly underprepared because I'm traveling. I'm going to a new Airbnb here in 10 days. So unfortunately, I'm underprepared in my current scenario. However, back at my home base that I would go to if I needed to, I have everything to be fine for a long time. And then finally, once you've done all those things, I'm a big believer in gold and silver. They fight against inflation. I believe silver under $20 is a fire sale. And gold, I'm not a big holder of gold. I started to diversify a little bit because I have so much silver. But my plan is to play the ratio. And, you know, people say, I've been told a million times, the gold to silver ratio doesn't matter. It's manufactured. There's no point to it, this and that. Okay, well, let me ask you a question then. If that's the case, how come if you look at this, there's been multiple opportunities to play it? So even if it is manufactured and totally controlled, there's been many opportunities, including in 2017, to play it. If you've been buying silver at 100 to 1, you know, and then you trade it at 67 to 1, you're going to get almost 40, 33% more gold doing that than if you would have bought gold to begin with. So people like to say all the time, oh, it's controlled, the market's rigged. Yeah, I think the market's heavily controlled, and the paper market for sure. But that doesn't mean you can't play it, even though it's controlled, and generate for yourself generational wealth, or what Lynette Zhang likes to call dynastic wealth. You guys, in my professional opinion, this video is no joke. You need to prepare, because what we've seen in 2020 so far might just be the beginning. And honestly, it's been such a crazy year. If you told me a meteorite was going to crash into us tomorrow, I'd probably believe it. Or maybe we're going to have the alien first encounter. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I really genuinely hope you all prepare. I don't care what side of the political spectrum you are on. I'm actually a pretty political person and have my own views. But in the grand scheme of things, I care about everyone, and I want you all to be safe, and I want you all to thrive, and I want you all to be able to keep all the wealth that you generated over your lifetime. And I truly believe the way to do that is gold and silver. Catch you on the next one.